Hello everyone, this is Fine from Tech Gaming Villa. Today I'm going to talk about the 2 TB Sony Bravia X90K versus the previous year X90J. Both are full array local dimming TV. As a successor to the affordable and therefore very popular X90J, Sony's brand new Bravia X90K unfortunately features one noticeable downgrade which results in worse picture quality in some scenes, even though the 4K HDR TV can get quite a bit brighter than last year's model. In the quickly evolving tech industry, newer usually also means better, even though incremental upgrades have become in the norm in many devices categories. Most manufacturers still manage to squeeze out a few small, and in the TV segment this is not always the case, as the new Sony X90K apparently has some trouble keeping up with its very successful mid-range predecessor from 2021. By the TV experts at Artings.com, the Sony Bravia X90K received a total score of 8 out of 10 possible points, which slightly lower than the X90J's score of 8.2. Most notably, the 2022 model has a worse static contrast of 4800:1 compared to the predecessor's 5600:1, even though the ratio can be significantly improved by utilizing the local dimming feature. You see the left side Sony X90K and the right side is X90J. X90J sometimes looks better. You clearly see the 2 TB. X90J sometimes performs better. On paper, this feature should perform better on the Sony Bravia X90K, as it has more than twice as many dimming zones. Unfortunately, the local dimming feature raises the black levels of the Sony Bravia X90K, which means that last year's model can have a better picture quality in dark scenes. On the other hand, the 2022 TV set sports an increased peak HDR brightness of up to 875 nits, which is a respectable 100 nits brighter than the X90J. Last but not least, there have been some small improvements to the VRR range of the Sony Bravia X90K at HD resolutions. But the panel in this specific test unit of the new 4K HDR TV also has a noticeably worse gray and black uniformity than the X90J. Overall, the Sony Bravia X90K is slightly inferior TV compared to last year's model, which is why budget-conscious buyers certainly get a better deal in the X90J, whose 65-inch version is currently $500 cheaper than the X90K on Amazon. If I talk about X90K's gaming performance on this 65-inch screen is gamers' rejoice, I will say. It supports auto low latency and variable refresh rate to power gaming. It automatically turns on the TV and switches to the game mode when you connect the PlayStation device. Game mode disables many image enhancing features in exchange for low input latency. Note that the technology is limited to Sony devices, so it won't work with Xbox, and you will have to manually switch from the remote and lock your settings by yourself. The visuals of games like Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man Miles Morales look breathtaking. If I talk about HDR, as far as HDR protocols, there are no surprise from Sony whatsoever, as I continue not to get HDR 10 Plus from them, and it seems that they are firmly into Dolby's camp. Sometimes that will not change if nothing extraordinary happens. In the total, the X90K features the standard trio of HDR protocols that include the basic HDR 10, which is required for 4K Ultra HD playback, HLG that is used in broadcasting, and lastly the more advanced Dolby Vision that uses dynamic metadata and offers the best quality from the three available. If you don't care about HDR 10 Plus, then you shouldn't really worry about it. Dolby Vision has far more support for the time being, but as I've seen an increased number of titles supporting Samsung's solution, this may become something to consider in the future. My opinion remains that this is a pointless conflict, and all manufacturers should embrace all HDR formats instead of pushing consumers to choose by brand because of this. X90K is equipped with certain tech in order to allow it to display deeper and more lifelike colors. As such, Sony has used a XR Preluminous Pro display in combination with XR color technology, which is included in the XR picture suite. Basically, I get the same tech that I've seen in the X90J. According to these measurements, the TV has about 94% coverage of DCI-P3 color space, which is excellent for its category. On the wider Recon 2020 color space, I got a coverage of 75%, which is also very good. The numbers above indicate an improvement over the X90J, which can be said is more than subtle. Before calibration, the X90K had good color accuracy, but not without some notable issues. White balance needed adjustment, and a few colors had values above the delta E limit of 3. Both of these could corrected after calibration, which improved the overall image considerably. Color gradients were very good, although some banding was visible in some darker shades, which was to be expected. There is also a smooth gradation feature in case banding is bothering you, but you are going to lose some fine detail if enabled. I move on. It seems that the X90K is very similar to last year, as it comes with a 120 Hz panel along with a backlight dimming frequency of 720 Hz, which is exactly the configuration I saw in the X90J. Also, due to the inclusion of Sony's best processor, I get XR Motion Clarity, which is the latest technology used to smooth out motion. You have the option to use either the standard motion interpolation system or use the black frame insertion interpolation. That is adding black frames in between individual frames and can potentially smooth out motion. Black frame insertion can be enabled by turning clearness to max if you use the custom setting in the motion flow menu. Black frame insertion was able to improve overall motion, and as is always the case, but the TV had exactly the same image duplication I had seen in the X90J. As I had mentioned previously, this is not a problem visible all the time, but in particular scenes you can notice it. And keep in mind that in general, black frame insertion has also a negative effect on brightness due to the black frames that are inserted. The X90K doesn't offer any considerable changes here as I have seen in some other areas. More or less, it behaved the same as the X90J with minor differences. So that's it from now. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications update. Thanks for watching.